Every Wednesday we meet on Instagram on this Zoom private meeting with school owners, potential school owners, future school owners. But tonight we got a special guest, y'all. We got Ricky. Pretty Ricky is up in the house, y'all. And he's got a lot to share with us. But we're going to start this off. I like to go all the way back, Ricky. Let's go back to your childhood and then step to where we're at today. So tell us a little bit about yourself, but then we want to start with the childhood.
I was born here in this area where I'm still at, which is called Marshall, Texas. Not such a big city, small town, but the population started growing really, really fast within the years. And as growing up here, I realized that a lot of things was a high demand. As a kid, I've always had this business-minded, just thinking about like being curious how you can make 1 cent into another cent, right? Flip that. One thing that really caught my attention growing up, you know, the sacrifices our parents went through trying to bring us to United States. I was born here, so they really came here in a huge struggle, you know, trying to find it, trying to make it, getting into many different type of sales. Dad was a singer. He was in the band. He loved being in the band, playing his instruments. He was doing very well here locally, but as a small town, it was hard to get out there. So not much technology was out there for him. And one of the things, the communication with the band, for a little while, they did very great. They made good money, but they broke apart. He eventually had to be a truck driver. So he drove all around Texas, being a timber transporter, selling logs, flipping tons of logs. He made good money doing that, but he got burnt out. So in a way, he quit that and just started really doing more international, but more national transportation. So he was really gone most of the time, right? So the struggle was on my mom then. Even though he was paying the bills, she was raising us, you know, those things, raised on bread and bologna, that's us, ramen noodles, eggs in the morning. Of course, it's that breakfast in the morning. And you know what? Till this day, I still have that kind of breakfast because I don't ever want to forget where I came from. I try to stay as humble as I am with others and be respected. And I just want to always remember that. Good thing is I still have a mother today. My father passed away 2 years ago. He had a heart attack, you know, took his life. Truck driving got to him, driving on the road all the time. So when I got started with barbering was really when I was 12 years old. When they went through the divorce, it fell a big part of, you know, of course, when parents pass, whenever they separate, and they want to go to different routes, it's not working out for them. It's common, okay? Nowadays, society is common. One thing that I've always learned was how much more can we give to others? I've always been given, right? What else can we do to provide our family, our friends, to the community? So when things got a little bit chaos, I said, you know what? If I can't make any money by working for someone else, I wanted to work for myself. So 12 years old, I said, you know what? I'm gonna sell some candy, start flipping some candy. The principal thought I was selling drugs. He was seeing me with my bag everywhere. He said, what you selling? And his name was Mr. Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
He said, man, I want what you got. What you selling? He snatched my bag. He looked in there. He saw nothing but Capri Suns, chips, sneakers. He said, man, I thought you were selling something else. Then I would dress up like an essay, you know, like a cholo, you can say. I'm Hispanic. I'm Mexican, just born here in the U.S. A lot of people get confused. What am I? Like, what are you? Like, are you from mid-history? Like, from, you know, somewhere else? So just to let y'all know, that's my culture. And like I was saying, Mr. Jackson, he came out there. He's like, "What you selling?" And I'm like, "Nothing, man. I'm not selling anything but candy. I'm just trying to make another dollar, man. Like, it's a struggle for me right now." He's like, "Tell me what you're going through." Tell him the story, and he's like, "Man, you keep doing what you're doing. Bring me some Capri Suns, bring me some chips, and I'm fine with that." So he let me sell candy, and at that time, I got to network with a lot of people in school, and I started to realize that I was building a network. And I said, "Hey, I can do something else. What can I do? What can put more money in my pocket?" Then haircuts weren't but like $5 or $10, you can say. I wanted to get the word out there as soon as I can. As soon as I could, I made a business cards. 12-year-old. Just put my number on there, my name, and a clip art that said Barber, cut hair, right? So I passed them out while I was selling candy. "Oh man, you cut hair too?" "Yeah, I cut hair. Come see me." "Okay, I'll see you after school." So little by little, it really started with just siblings, brothers, cousins, starting to practice with them. I had one cousin who's like, man, he would come around with jacked up haircuts, and my auntie, she's like, "I can't take this no more. You can keep my clippers." So I had some brand new peanuts, walls, some brand new walls, and all I needed was those clippers and comb and water. We lived in the mobile home growing up. In the mobile homes, they're kind of small. If there's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. That 1 bath, you can only fit so many people. But I made it work. We all got to make it work somehow. We're having fun, we're chit-chatting, I'm learning. I'm doing all these crazy designs, all these crazy haircuts. I'm being very artistic with my styles. But the person who really encouraged me was my mother. She would be like, "Son, do as many haircuts you can, but I need you to clean up. Just clean up, be clean." "Yes, ma'am." And at the end of the day, I would make my $50, $100, and then that's not even including my candy. I'm like, whoa, I'm making $100 on just haircuts, and then not even the candy. So for a little bit, I stopped selling candy. I was like, you know what? It's too much to go to the store right now. I need to just focus on haircuts, right? And so my cousins and all of them kept coming. Finally, I started charging $5 for whatever you wanted, designs whatsoever you wanted. Dye, bring me the dye, I'll do it. I probably burned a couple of scalps. I probably messed up a couple of people, but hair grew, right? And after I got that experience, then I didn't realize that I was becoming a business person, business-minded. I never did see that, how far it was going to take me, right? And so I realized, okay, get your high school done. You got your money rolling, get your license. What's the next step, okay? So for a long time, I tried to figure out how business worked, how the system worked, how the system worked around laws of attraction and numbers, like CPA, accountant, and technology. So I was like, okay, cool. Technology. Softwares were coming out. Facebook was coming out. So I got in the market. I got in the Facebook market, exposed more. I got my license, worked with somebody else, and about 30 minutes away, worked in another shop, worked in my own shop. I opened up my own shop at 19 years old. As soon as I graduated, I already had money saved up. I saved up probably about 30 grand, and that's from when I was 17. I mean, I would spend some money here and there, but I was a good saver. I knew how to save money. I lived below my means, and I still do to today. Trying to make it, what I want is that freedom to really be there for others, right? The freedom to do what you want to do, right? And to teach others how this industry is such high demand that you don't just need to cut hair. There's more out there than just cutting hair. But if you're passionate for it, that's your passion. I'm passionate about it. I'm gonna stick to it. I'm gonna keep doing it until, of course, the day I'm in the grave. But since I'm really thoughtful about things and I'm burned out a little bit, you could say, I'm only 32, but I've been working since I was 12. Now that's a tool in my body. I don't even have time to go to the gym anymore because I got this real estate going on. With the real estate, I decided, hey, don't just flip homes. What if you can receive cash flow? So I invested into mobile home parks, RV parks. So now the money's coming in, and with your program, the mentorship program, at first in 1 year, 2 years, I looked into it. I should have got you when you were less, right? But it doesn't matter because the return it's much bigger. With your help, and thank God for what's been given to us, it took from 10, 20 years of documentation, the knowledge and experience. It took that long to cut it down from 10 years. Right now, it's at, we're only 3 months with the academy, and we're opening 3 schools, RV Park, Mobile Home Park. It can't get any better, Mr. King.
How did you, so you had your own shop and you was cutting hair and making money. Tell us about that. How was it being a barber, and when did you start getting tired and start thinking about wanting to do other things? I
started getting really like, when I say about 3 years ago, when I was 29, okay? I had gotten married, and a year later, I realized that when you invest in yourself, in your own shop, and you're behind a chair, you start to really put the picture. You see the bigger picture. The bigger picture was, how far can we go, right? And so, how far can we go? There's more to it, you know? It's such a high demand that these young generations, they want more knowledge, they want more experience. So with the schools, it's going to teach them a lot more, not just hair cutting, but also business minded, and it's all in the mentality, right? What
made you even think about it though? What made you even think about wanting to open a school? Because you had your shop making money, owning the shop.
I couldn't provide more by just working 14, 16 hours a day. I couldn't. I was getting burned out. 14, 16 hours a day. Then you're charging, you know, your price. You're putting the price on your haircut, but then you're running off your friends. You're starting to kind of break relationships. And in one way, it's just going to happen. It's going to happen. When I really hurt my back at that time, and I could only last 8 hours, I said, I got to do something else. And so I realized, hey, when I saw your program, I said, okay, maybe I could do this. Maybe I could open up schools, right?
Where did you see it?
I'd say about 2 or 3 years ago.
What was you thinking in your brain when you first saw it? Tell us that journey.
What I was thinking was, maybe I could get to a better position where, hey, maybe I could work less and have more of my time to put into my staff. In a way, I don't know, it really came at a point where you just, you know, were tired. You know, you're like, hey, I need to do something else. I have no clue how it happened, but I think mainly was when my brain just shifted. I took myself more serious. I made a change myself. I got closer to God. So in a way, it's been blessing, you know.
But you watched for like 2 or 3 years. During that time you was watching, what was you researching? Or tell us about that.
I was researching. I was doing a lot of research for sure. I was picking up these sources, and when I was picking up these sources, it wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough. It wasn't detailed sources. And so I needed a mentor. And at first, trying to do everything yourself is just gonna be a longer journey. You know, it's gonna take you forever, and it's gonna be many days that you're gonna be devastated. Now, the confidence, I didn't have the confidence just to go on and do it myself. I just didn't have those sources. And the very deep inside sources were very important. That's what builds the confidence in the team. That's what builds the confidence behind any employee or staff or the barbers and cosmetologists and all estheticians. You know, to run schools in the beauty industry, I didn't just look at schools. I'm looking at product line, private label. We're trying to work on online courses, build curriculums, 1 to 3 day advanced courses, scalp micro pigmentation. Got one of my instructors who's trying to do eyelash and microblading. So with the vision that we putting together as a team, these sources, I would never be at the point where I'm at now today in 3 months. So it was a great investment. I continue to invest in that.
What made you decide to invest in it? What was your reasoning? Tell us about that.
I guess trying to figure out what would make that next step. See, there's always, how can you get to the next step, right? So I was stuck. And following you for a long time, I couldn't figure out how I was going to get in contact with you or how I was going to do it. But I did it. I was afraid to jump into the next level. But
why were you afraid? What was you afraid of?
I was afraid of failure, but that's part of it, right? That's part of it. And when you fail, such as you work so hard, you invest so much, in a team. You invest in a team and you're scratching their back and you're kind of, hey man, I scratch your back. You blueprint from me. We got these whole ideas. There's always one person in that team who's just not with you. Like, nah, you know what you're doing. You're trash. You can't cut hair no more. Or, oh, I got all your clients. And it takes that one person to just like, hey, I put all this trust in this team, all this work for 2 years, and all of a sudden it just collapsed. Now we're going somewhere else. I mean, I had contracts and everything, but it doesn't work. I mean, sometimes they can break contracts, right?
Oh, so they left.
So they left. When they left, I realized, hey, this building's empty. Let me just go ahead and make it to school. So as soon as I made it to school, network, all these instructors came in. And one thing is I try to put my employees first. The school first, but the employees first too. And with the program, it just launched. It launched. It's such a high demand in this area that it will continue to grow. North Houston, east of Dallas, I'm not gonna say everybody's moving, but LA, is moving over here, trying to get better at their taxes, I guess, not pay too many taxes out there. Texas is a little lenient, but it's going up right now. Taxes are going up. More like the market's going up here. Everywhere, right? Inflation's going up.
So what was you expecting when you joined?
I had no clue if I was just gonna get one student or two or three or four. I had no clue. Since all this negative energy was around me, I'm like, man, I don't even know if I'm gonna get the support. I don't even know if anybody's gonna be on my side. I don't even know if the community's gonna be on my side. But I turned that weakness into strength. I turned it into strength, and I made a lot of outcomes. Instead of overwhelming myself on the problems, I solved those problems and made them into ideas, solutions, and created something, a model, right? So as I created this model, I believed that this model, along with your mentorship program, will take us further, such as franchising. We're looking at franchise 3 to 5 years, maybe sooner. Who knows? All possibilities are out there. If something happened in 3 months, anything else can happen in the next 6 months to 1 year. And that's not even all financial aid yet,
So how was the paperwork like working together when you working with me?
The paperwork, you know what? One thing about paperwork is so, like, the way you put it together in your system. As long as I watch your videos, take your courses, print them out, and the communication we have, it's great. It's great. The paperwork, put the applications in. I negotiate a plan with my students. Right now, my courses start at $6,500, and that's payments. Got to give a deposit first, $1,500, registration fee, $100, then a $25 application fee. Right. So I let them know, I communicate with them. A lot of times it's the encouragement. If my energy is at a low energy, if I'm interviewing a new student, then they will not join my academy. But if my energy is where I believe in them and I trust in them, they trust in me. I put that first, and I provide an extra mile. I go beyond an extra mile, such as social media marketing courses, tax deduction courses, and these certificates that I'll be giving on these basics that will include with my program. So that way, when they leave, they know that they're not on their own. That I provide not just the license, but I provide some self-confidence, such as what you do is provide self-confidence. And that's what they want. They want to either work in a group, an organization that they can grow, or they want to be successful on their own. I want them to be successful. The struggle is real. In the beginning, the sources are not there. So if I can give them all these sources, I'm buying these books that are about insurances, different ways they can make different moves, and I give them a business plan. Like, here's your business plan. I recommend them to the SBA Center, Small Business Administration Center. If you need more help, they will help you. If you bring in some cash flow with your customers already, teach them about how you can market in different ways, not just social media, but how they can actually make different impacts on themselves with providing different strategies.
Now, how did you keep the courage and the fire going to when you told people you was going to start the school, when they found out? Because a lot of times when you go into the next level, doing things on a high level, you're going to have a group of people that's going to shoot at you. People shoot at eagles, but they feed pigeons. You're going to have people to try to pull you back, lie, say all kinds of crazy stuff. So how did you keep going?
When a lot of people was like, man, you can't open up a school. How are you going to open up a school? You don't know what you're doing. You didn't even make good grades in school. You know, I did have a lot of people who doubt me, and it's normal, and it's going to happen. It's just, you know, what they going through. And sometimes it's just, they can't believe it. It's a shock, you know, it's just a shocking moment. I stayed real quiet about my move. I really was silent about it. I was working on this for a year and a half, going for my instructor license. And as soon as the instructor license, the new law here in Texas, September 1st, 2021 or 2020, changed, no, 21. It changed where the instructors no longer need a license, a instructor license. But I was already finishing mine, so I went ahead and got it, you know. I'm gonna need it for the future anyways. Just it taught me a lot to go for that instructor program. Me as a teacher, I didn't know how to be a teacher. I had to teach myself how to be a teacher. So this Master Educator's book, it was very important to me. And I didn't get mad about, hey, you know, that sucks. You know, I can't believe I went to school and paid for all this hours. And no, I wasn't mad. I was actually grateful about it. I was like, you know what? Hey, maybe this will help the schools even work a better system to bring in those who want to come in. Instead of boot renting, I make a deal and I make a trade where they work at the school, they teach, no boot rent. So that cuts the expense on my side. And actually it gives them passion for what they want to do, what they like to do. And the students watch. They have to see the masters at work. So they want to see, they want to touch, they want to feel, they get with the concept, you know? So it's working out.
Now, how did your mom feel when you opened that school?
She was excited, super excited. Every morning I would drink coffee with her and we just talk about her day. We would watch the birds and, you know, be outside on the porch. And she was excited because in a way, she always knew something special was going to happen. And she knew how hard I worked for things at a young age. One thing I want to give her as much as I can, you know. I have seen your stories of how you provide for your mama, and man, I'm like, that's just, I can relate to that. Like, so I invested some of her money into a mobile home park and RV. So I'm growing her capital on that. We're in the process of building her house and my house. So it's a blessing. She is super excited, happy. She loves waking up early and just having coffee, good breakfast. She loves cooking. Her thing is cooking. And so definitely I always go to her house, you know, and get some good meals, get some good tortillas, tacos. And she cooks the very traditional way of chimneys. Like you use chimneys, you burn wood. So we try to never ever forget about where she come from, our ancestors, generations, and just keep working hard at it and keep God first.
Now the naysayers, the ones that was talking negative, and
man,
what are they doing?
Oh, God, what are they doing? I don't know. I'm not worried about them. But it happened. A lot of stylists, a lot of barbers, and just those that were naysayers. They some of them that was, you know, just shocked, small-minded. They said, "What are you doing bringing the school into town? You're bringing more competition." Mm-hmm. It's like, we don't like you because of that reason. I look at them like, hey, I don't need you to like me. I'm making a difference for these kids, the new generations. Like, if it's going to keep them off the streets, out of trouble, just like it kept me out of trouble. I mean, I might have gotten into a little trouble, but look, the thing is, if it keeps our community busy, I'm fine with that, you know? And so I try to ignore them, you know? I try to. Sometimes you talk to old friends and they'll tell you, maybe they're not old friends, never been old friends, but there were just people you know from the community around town. And they just say all these things like, oh man, we hear you getting fancy on us. And I'm like, hey, what you mean fancy? What's fancy to you? Ah, man, you can barely talk to people now. Like, okay, do I have to put my time into something where it's not going to be better for me? Instead, I'm putting my time into what's going to improve my priorities, which is my mother, my wife, future kids, and the next generation of my kids. And those who still want to be surrounded by me, I look for those. I don't forget about those. So in a way, it's gotten to a point where I try to just build strength, man. I just try to just build that strength.
Well, when you become a school owner and you're thinking big and going to the next levels, you're going to outgrow a lot of your friends. It'll be time to get some new ones to level up. Because we want to be, you want to talk about that?
I've been going to a lot of networking seminars, and I've gotten to meet more people who have the same mindsets as I do. And I try to keep those relationships going, because in a way, if you're like-minded, you will get along together so much better. There will not be anybody being offended by what you say or how you said things, or you being fancy, you know? I try to keep my education first too. That's mainly. And so if I meet with someone, I'm gonna talk to them, you know, hey, how you been? I can share a lot of laughter. I joke around a lot. I'm so sarcastic when it comes to a lot of things. But when it's time to get serious, I get real serious. In a way, my best friend is my dog, my German Shepherd. I don't need no other friends, you know?
What's your German Shepherd's name?
Simba. His name is Simba, like the Lion King movie. Mm-hmm. We wanted to choose a hero name, a good hero name. We do put a lot of time into him, not enough time. I wish I did have a lot more time to just spend more time with him and my wife and my mom and, you know, siblings. But in a way, we got work to do, you know?
How did you feel about your curriculum and all the paperwork you had to submit to TDLR?
The curriculum was one of those where I was stuck. I guess you can say, to process things, I overthink it. And sometimes I go way beyond and do way too much, right? And when something just as simple as you need to have it, the curriculum was part of the reason why I needed your program. But in a way, you know, we're all different. We're all different. We work different ways. Okay, I'm not, you know, smart or anything like that. I just, you know, it's not good to tell yourself that you're not smart, but you are smart in many ways. You know, in many ways we try to comprehend paperwork, right? So with the curriculum, when I sent it off to Texas State, emails, I've always wanted my office. And I finally got my office, and I'm sitting in my office right now. This is my favorite place to be at. This is where my brain works better. You know, I have my lights dim. I got the door closed, my students on the other side. But since we have to make sure our clients are well, you know, I have to be in the front first. I can't just be stuck in the office, or else the business will probably go down if I was in the front. So I got to take care of your business, you know. Mm-hmm.
How are you feeling about this interview coming up?
Man, last week on Wednesday, you know, we were supposed to do this interview, and dude, Mr. Chin, I got sick. The fever got to me. I had a sore throat, an infection in my ear, and I'm just like, I'm not nervous about it. I wasn't nervous about it, to be honest. A little nervous, but I guess with like-minded and just where it's headed to, I'm just that excited with your program. I said, I'm willing to. When you asked me to be interviewed, I said, heck yeah. I think people want to hear this story. I would love to share my story. I think I've dreamed about sharing the story for a long time, and today's the moment, you know, and I went for it. But good thing, thank God, I got better last week. They shot me up with some fluids, B12. I was surprised how good this medicine worked. They shot me up with some steroids, and I never used any steroids. And these steroids, I mean, they felt like ants crawling inside of you. And I'm like, whoa, this is different. And the next day, I was like Superman back at the shop, you know, back at the academy, working on paperwork. I did not sleep at all that night. I guess just not that I was worried about anything. Is more, you know, the mess was just that good. So the grind is there, you know.
How does it feel to be a school owner?
Man, it feels great. It feels great. You know, I thought I was going to be a school owner and I would be, 20, 30 years from now, like, when I was 40, 50, No, I'm about to be 32. I'm a school owner and I feel great,
When you're driving up to it each day, what are you thinking?
Each day, the more students I sign up, right now we have 12 here and more than the other locations. And I manage this one and my other instructors manage the other ones. I still drive to each location once or twice a week and to make sure the enrollments are taken care of. I'm of course right now I don't need anybody else managing my money except me, right? I just got to build that trust and everybody else and have a financial aid advisor, someone who can really trust. And I've been talking to friends who are also in the sales and know some accounting, but now as a school owner and being in the school, it's changed my mindset of how quicker I can start in finishing my projects, my investments, and how I can venture my capital in a way. Staying educated with everything, with sources you given, for sure, it's going to be great.
What was it like signing up that first student? Can you tell us about that? That
first student, it was great. It was a great feeling. I didn't think a student was going to sign up within a week that I announced that I opened up my school. And when the student signed up, she had been my customer for about 6 months. And her name was Sonia. Sonia was in a part where, okay, I still want to continue working for 𝗬𝗿𝗄𝗯𝗵, but I don't want to keep working for somebody. And I only live up the street. Now you open up a school. I can just come to your night class, and this is something I've always been wanting to do. This is what Sonia was telling me. I've always wanted to be a barber. That's something that I've been wanting to do for 25 years. Whenever, I think 20 or 25 years, 2006, I don't know how long it's that been, but she started school and something happened that she couldn't just finish it, and now she could finish it. Now she's 500 hours in, and she's just super excited, Seeing her excitement, seeing her determination, her grind. She learned straight hair. We do it all here. Straight.
So you cut straight hair?
I grew up cutting straight hair.
Okay, so I've been licensed 32 years, and I don't know how to cut straight hair. You talked about people being smart and all that. So everybody has their expertise.
Right, man. I thought you knew how to cut straight hair.
I've never learned how to cut straight hair. Now, a lot of people think about school owners, you gotta be smart, know how to do this and that. No, right. I opened the school, I was 26, but I had Miss 𝗍𝗲𝗻𝗄 as my mentor in her program, but I never learned how to cut straight hair, don't know how to do colors, shampoos, conditioners. So don't ever think of yourself as, not you, but everybody else, well, I'm dumb or I'm not good enough or whatever. Right. No. All you got to do is be great in one area.
Yes.
Okay, so you got to believe in yourself, no matter what other people say. I mean,
of course not.
Ricky talked about the naysayers and stuff. So
you have to share that. The naysayers.
No, I said you talked about the naysayers. People going to say stuff to try to deter you or whatever. And sometimes there are voices in your head to say, "Well, I'm not good enough," or, I mean, the voice is going to talk to all of us.
It's going to motivate you.
Yeah.
Whatever is your motive, that's just another motive. I've always thought, how can things be more better at showing more kindness, right? But your kindness can be for granted, and it's always going to be taken for granted. But those who are the same way as we are, they know to respect that. They know the potential of it, because we want this in our areas.
You've been doing this 20 years. You're 32 since you was 12.
Right.
If you hadn't opened the school, what would you be doing?
If I wouldn't open the school, man, I'd probably be real estate, maybe still working for myself, cutting hair. This would still probably be a barbershop. So I would still have my booth renters, and I would just invest all that money into more real estate. But that's not my passion. That's more like a backup plan. I know this is a liability, such as when I hurt my back. I was paralyzed for 2 weeks, I was devastated. I couldn't cut hair. I couldn't make any income. Mom had to work for a month to make sure that the bills were getting paid. And I realized, hey man, you didn't save. I invested so much money into the shop and into real estate at that time that the money that I was seeing come back wasn't coming back right there and then. It was gonna take some time, you know? And exactly at that time is when I hurt my back. And I said, hey, I need something more reliable. So a school is more reliable. As long as, you know, the codes and all that doesn't change, I think we'll be safe. But they always try to change to improve it better, you know? I don't think they're gonna change it just to make it the system worse, right? I think they change it to find many ways how they can make the economic development, the economic analytics a better way for everybody, especially around this time with inflation.
What would you tell a barber or a stylist, nail tech, esthetician or whatever that's working in a shop, but they have a dream of opening a school or thinking about it? What would you say to them?
I would say, go for it. Just go for it. Find God in you. Find faith in you. Find that faith, that confidence. Make that next step. Just take those baby steps, you know? Don't be afraid to try something new. We're always gonna fail at something, but we're gonna learn at it. Don't try to prevent those failures. And if you want to open up a school, make sure you have the sources. The sources are the most important thing. Be protected. Be protected with documents, laws. You don't want these students or anybody, you know, suing you, anything like that. Anything can happen any day, you know? There's always some clients that could. And having these documents, having these sources are very, very important. The most important thing in business is your documentation, your paperwork. So to get into something, you can start without having them, but you're gonna set yourself back, you know. But if you can do it, you can make that next move. Just go for it.
Before we get started with Q&A, I'm gonna put this on YouTube.
Okay.
It's gonna be people. It's 7 billion people on the planet. So if somebody type in how to open a barber school or want to be a school owner, they probably gonna hear your story, Rick. I'm sure.
Okay. I would love to.
On the Q&A, what would you like to leave the viewers with?
That if they're watching this, let this be a motive to them and what they're doing today, to make sure what they deal with today and what they trying to find in themselves, that they have it with themselves. It's just that one, in a way, you have it with yourself in front of you. You'll always make, if you feel like impossibilities are going to be impossible, you know, there's possibilities. You by watching this video, I hope you can find some type of a good source, a good motive to keep you going, you know. It's helped me out a lot watching your videos and other people's videos virtually. It's become something that's now I'm taking a step into trying to work virtually. But make sure that you don't lose that faith, you know?
Okay. Now, when you watched other people's videos, did that do anything to you?
Yes, a lot. Mm-hmm. I've always thought about, hey, how can I be one of those videos? How can I tell my story? How can I really, and it took time to see that, you know? And I appreciate you having me on this today. And I hope 𝗵𝗍 found a great way into watching this video.
Well, you're going to help a lot of people, Ricky. You're already helping a lot of people in your community. When you become a school owner, you become a pillar in the community.
Yes, sir.
You gain more influence, more authority, more power, more enemies, but that comes with the territory.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a pleasure having you, and we're gonna go into Q&A.
Appreciate you having me in here.
Let's go, let's go!